Good morning once again. Yes, we're dealing with what many would consider to be a very solemn subject, the subject of physical death, but the natural end of every physical life. We are given life at the very moment of our conception, a life which will last for as long as God decides. For the first 9 months, we live within our mother's wombs. For the next any number of years, however long they may be, we live within these physical bodies. We mature and we develop. But then gradually we see these physical bodies beginning to deteriorate. I don't see as well as I used to, or my eyes are a lot better since I've had cataract operations. I certainly don't hear as well as I used to. As you can see from these videos, I need hearing aids to help me to hear now. And I need all sorts of helps in everyday life. I am beginning to realize that my body is in fact deteriorating and deteriorating quite rapidly. But this does not worry me at all, because I know what God has promised, and I know therefore what I can be looking forward to. During this last COVID epidemic, many people have become worried because relatives and people they've loved have been taken into hospital and have died in hospital, and because of the nature of this pandemic and the viciousness of this particular virus, they haven't been able to visit with their families. They haven't been able to be there when they've actually physically died. And they've come to me and they said, I feel so distressed that they died on their own. I can assure you they did not die on their own. It wasn't just the doctors and nurses because, well, these were strangers. But God, who had known them from the very beginning of time, he was there. His angels were there, waiting to escort them to where they needed to get to. They were not alone. Never for a moment think that your loved ones were on their own. They were there. It's almost as if you were to think of a child being born in the hospital. The mother is there, yes, the father is there, but they are surrounded by medical staff helping them through this experience. And in the same way, God, who knows the very moment of our physical death, is there, and with his angels and his saints are helping us through this experience into the next stage of life that we have to come into. So we never die on our own. We'll always die. If we are surrounded by family and friends, then that can be a blessing. But more than that, there are the others who are around us that the family and friends never see. Those who have come to actually greet us and welcome us into eternity. I remember once, and this is a story I just tell you as an aside. I was visiting a very elderly Christian when I was a curate in Cadoxton in Barry. And one morning, I had a phone call from her son. And he said, will you come and see Mum? I said, what's the problem? He said, well, she's getting very distressed. And she says, please send for the priest. He said, you know, Mum. I said, yes, I know her. You know, she always got her own way. I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. I said, I'll call in about 10 o'clock this morning. So I called and saw her. Maria, I said, what is the problem? She said, I want you to hear my confession. I said, oh, not again, Maria. You know, how many times do you have to make a confession? Because I'd heard it so many times before. Then she said, I want you to anoint me. I said, all right, yes, you want to be anointed. Then I want you to give me communion. I said, why do you want that today, Maria? It was a Saturday. I remember clearly it was a Saturday. She said, because I'm going to die this afternoon. I said, Maria, you've been talking about approaching death for a long time, and from what I can see, you're as fit and you're as healthy now as you've ever been. Oh no, she said, that's all in the past. My daughter and her daughter had died about 30 or 40 years before. My daughter came to see me this morning, she said, and she said to me, get ready, Mum, because you're coming home this afternoon. I thought, all right, I got to appease this woman, I got to try to help her in some way. So I went home and I got the oils and I got the sacrament. I came back and I heard a confession, which I'd heard on many occasions. And then I anointed her and then I gave her the sacrament. I said, okay now? She said, yes, I'm at peace, completely at peace. Look, Maria, I said, I remember it was a Saturday because we had a Christmas party on in the afternoon for the Sunday school children. I said, we've got a Christmas party on in the church this afternoon. I'll come back and see you at 5 o'clock this evening. There's no need, she said, there's no need. I came out of her bedroom, came downstairs, spoke to her son. He said, she's made me send for all the family. They're coming from all over the place. I've had to phone them up and bring them in. They've all got to get here before 3 o'clock this afternoon. I said, well, you know your mother and your relatives know your mother. You must do what you think is right. I'll come back at 5 o'clock. Well, I arrived back at 5 o'clock. I was met by the son on the doorway. He said she was right. She went at 3 o'clock. She suddenly opened her eyes and said, ah, there you are, speaking to somebody we couldn't see, and then died. Very strange experience. The actual certainty of passing from one life to another. Amen.